What's happening, everybody? I'm Steve, and welcome back to Junk Drummer TV. Long time no see. I've been gone because I took an Irish vacation, and we're going to talk about it. Now, this is a music channel, and we're going to get into my musical experiences in Ireland, but we're going to talk about my overall experiences there. First of all, if you have the chance to go travel and you are a traveler of the world, I cannot recommend going to Ireland enough. It's magical. I'm going to try to get through this review of my Irish vacation without getting too woo-woo. What a beautiful place. What wonderful people. I went to Dublin, I went to Kenmare, I went to Kilkenny, I think that's a county. I went to Dingle, and then I went to Galway, and then went back to Dublin. Found a new appreciation for the world while traveling for 2 weeks with Mrs. Junk Drummer. And that's another thing. Make sure you have somebody like Mrs. Junk Drummer as your travel companion. It makes everything so much better. I can only liken what I witnessed or felt there like the first time I did LSD. And I know kids watch my channel, but let's be adults here. You think differently. It's the first time I've ever went to another country, and you end up thinking differently because you've experienced, especially when you spend that much time in a place, you learn just different cultures and how, let's be honest, Americans can be very American centric. And I have come back with a much more calmer, even kill thought about everything. It's so beautiful. It's like being in a postcard. Now, Dublin is a international city, and it feels like more culturally enriched New York City. I'm sure I feel that way because I was a foreigner. Uh, just every race, color, and creed is there, seemingly living in harmony. I hope I don't sound too naive about this, but it really felt that way. I was in a big major city and I never felt like I was in any danger. It was such a clean, beautiful city full of just the nicest people. They fucking love Americans in Ireland. You would not believe how much they love Americans over there. As soon as they heard this accent, they came running. I had so many wonderful conversations, and I think that's probably what got me to the place that I'm at with a new outlook on life, is not just seeing these places that were so alien to me and to my eyes, but talking with other people. And they don't talk past each other there. They really do listen, and they don't regurgitate stuff. They're really listening, and you're having a true conversation. It's like being in a podcast everywhere. Everyone wants to have wonderful cultural exchanges. I, I can't believe how wonderful that place is. Now, I've been told it was, but you don't really know until you go. Now, we're going to get to the music. Hang on. The only downside of Ireland is the food. The food goes from really great to really bland. The white person seasoning meme is alive and well. Ireland, I love you. Salt, pepper, you know what I mean? Maybe some Old Bay. I told a guy there that if you went to a southern barbecue, like where I'm from, your tongue would fall out of your mouth. The fish and chips are amazing. Fish and chips are always great because you're always like 3 hours from the coast. Or like in Dingle, where we literally were outside of the port where the boat brought in the fish for that restaurant that day. Now let's get to the music. I swear, Ireland was flirting with me. The synchronicity that I felt in Ireland, I've never felt before. And here are my instances. The very first music store that I walked into, the band was playing. Like the band. And it was, yes, a Levon Helm song. Now, if you're a longtime viewer of my channel, you know that Levon Helm is my favorite drummer. I'm like, what are the chances? I walked in and I told Miss Junk Drummer, there's Levon. Levon, he welcomed me to the town of Kenmare. Then we were walking in Galway, and there was a girl on the side of the street. They have a real, seem to be rich culture of street performers in the major cities. And this woman was singing Hallelujah. Well, if you know, and if you're a longtime listener of my channel, you know that Hallelujah is my favorite song ever, specifically Jeff Buckley's version. And of course, that's the one she was doing. We get into the car to go from Galway back to Dublin so we can catch our flight. And In the Air Tonight is on the radio when I turn on my rented Volvo XC60. If you're a longtime viewer of my channel, you'll know In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins is the reason that I play drums. I heard that as a little kid and I couldn't get it out of my system. And that's all I wanted to do was play drums. And here's that fucking song on the radio. And then this one, the fourth one. This is so unbelievable. I was afraid to tell my friends because I thought they would think that I was lying. I think we were in Galway as well. And we walk into a pub. I don't remember. I went to so many pubs. Oh my God. I guess we'll talk about drinking here in a minute. I played or have played many shows with the very famous country artist, Tyler Childers. Hell, he opened up for my band's CD release in 2012. His band, the three guys from one state, are all of my friends. Hot Rod, the drummer, has been on my channel. So we're in Galway. Me and Miss Junk Drummer, we're drinking a nice pint of Guinness. And I can tell you this, you can't drink Guinness. It doesn't taste the same anywhere else other than Ireland. And I don't know why. But these two adorable Irish boys played Feathered Indians by Tyler Childers. I've got video of it. I may play it at the end of this channel or at the end of this video. The audio's terrible because it was a lot of crowd noise. Those four things, it's like Ireland was calling to me. My favorite drummer, my favorite song, the song that made me want to play drums, and a song by a guy who grew up about an hour away from me. It was insane. I couldn't believe it. I was on this natural high during that whole trip. Now, one thing I realized in Ireland is I now know why rock and roll was created in America and refined in Britain. And it's because we have the room. We have the room to rock. I did not see, and I know there were some theaters there, but I did not see a live venue that could support a rock and roll band. If you think about it, there's not many rock bands from Ireland. When I took the very touristy double-decker bus tour in Dublin, in between them telling us about the sights, they would play music from Irish artists, and they were all U2, The Corrs. If you grew up in the 90s, you remember them. Thin Lizzy, The Cranberries, and Hozier, who's not a band. Ireland just doesn't have the infrastructure to support drum sets. That's another thing. This is probably the longest I've ever went without seeing a drum set. 2 weeks without seeing a drum set. And I asked the music store that had the Levon Helm song playing, hey bro, where's the drums? And he just said, we don't have the room. I went to 3 music stores. I only saw one place that had like a set of hi-hats, and they had like a drumstick collection. And that was about it. You can't have rock bands there. Actually, the only thing that I saw that was close to that, and I may add that to this video, were these 3 like 12, 13-year-old kids in the little town of Kenmare, actually very close to said music store. And it was 2 guitar players and a bass player. They didn't even have a drum set player. It was insane. You got to have room to rock, apparently. and there's just not enough room to rock. And that's another thing about the live music scene in Ireland. And if you're from Ireland and you're in my comments section, please answer this question. If you go to a pub, like specifically we were in Murray's, that was one of the ones that we went to. We didn't make it to Sean's because I was just too hungover to make it. The music is all traditional, very traditional. It's always like younger cats, and it's always like mandolin, acoustic guitar, banjo. Banjo played with a pick, by the way, which from my part of the world is very strange. We're used to this thing on the banjo. There, it's played with a pick. I saw a bazouk, which is a big mandolin, and maybe fiddle, and maybe accordion, and they play very traditional music. Now, does that happen in Ireland because they know that's what the tourists want to see? Or is that really what the people who live there want to hear? I'm very interested in knowing that. And where are the punk bands? Where's the metal bands? I don't think they're there because there's not enough room. Because Ireland's only about the size of South Carolina, and I think they have about 5 million people. I can't say that I was mad at it because I really love that style of music. Something that I noticed being from Appalachia is that traditional lilting, like old triangle type music is the forebearer. It is the grandfather of bluegrass music. You can hear the thread from Irish music to bluegrass music, and it's not subtle. It's not subtle at all. So I was at home. All their music is sad and are as very lamenting. And if you know the history of Ireland, you will know why their music is so sad. They have been invaded for thousands of years. That's another thing. I'm 6'1", and I don't really feel small many places, but I felt small in Ireland because let me tell you, the Viking seed was sowed all over that island, and everybody's huge. Everybody's gigantic. Even the women are tall. It's a big, huge, hearty, awesome people, the Irish. And it's been a week now since I've been there, so I've lost my Irish accent that I was picking up pretty well. Well, if Miss Junk Drummer was here, she would say that I wasn't picking it up very well, but I think I was. I love that place. I will go back. They're so welcoming. They're so inquisitive, so knowledgeable. I loved it. I would like to thank all of my viewers because you helped me afford going over there. I am but a humble drummer and drum teacher, and without the YouTube channel, I wouldn't have been able to afford to go over there. So thank you. I'll leave you with this. Oh, wait, I got to tell you this story. Oh, my God. So the second night we were staying at an Airbnb, and our Airbnb was like a 200-year-old horse barn that had been converted into an Airbnb, just this beautiful limestone building. And the guy who owned it was this wonderful British expat named Jim, and he was from Liverpool. And we talked all things worldly, politics, and especially music. And of course, I'm always trying to find out more about music. And I said, Jim, what other bands are from Liverpool? And he paused and he looked at me from over his glasses and he said, were the Beatles not enough for you? Fair play, Jim, fair play. I'll leave you with this. This is a quote from another British cat that was our last cab driver of the whole trip. And he said, the thing about Irish and the thing about Ireland is that they need to be loved. And I tell you what, they succeeded. I'll see you next time.